Okay, so you're ready to dive headfirst into this whole world of Fiverr web developers, right? Thousands of them out there, all vying to build your dream website.
It does sound kind of amazing, doesn't it?
Totally. But gotta be honest, the first time I tried hiring a developer myself, it was like, whoa, information overload.
Yeah, it can definitely feel like that.
Like walking into one of those giant tech conferences, everyone's throwing around jargon. I'm like, I think I get it.
Right, and that's exactly why this deep dive is going to be so good.
Okay, good. Lay it on me.
So we're breaking down this recent podcast episode, and they interviewed this digital entrepreneur, John, right?
Okay, yeah.
And he's been through the Fiverr hiring thing a bunch of times. Like, he's hired maybe a dozen developers on there, so he's got this whole process down.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Yeah.
Someone who can hold our hand through the chaos. Yes, please.
Right. And his first point is gold. Like, I wish I knew this when I first started. He's all about clarity.
Clarity, okay.
But really knowing what you want.
Yeah.
Before you even look at developer profiles.
Oh, interesting. So it's like, don't even browse until you've got your stuff figured out.
Exactly. Because it's so tempting to just dive in.
Oh, totally. I'm so guilty of that.
And he said that often leads to, wasted time, miscommunication with the developer.
Makes sense. So what's John's secret to avoiding all that? How do we actually get clear on what we want?
He's got this great analogy. He's like, imagine walking into a store, you're totally overwhelmed by choices. You know that feeling?
The worst. Happens to me in the cereal aisle every time.
Right. He's like, don't let that happen with your website. So he says, write down your must-haves first.
Written down. Okay.
It's like telling your developer exactly what you need before you even start shopping around.
That's such a good point. I'm the queen of wandering aimlessly online and then forgetting what I was even looking for.
Right. And when it comes to websites, those must-haves. Things like, do you need e-commerce? Contact forms.
Okay, yeah.
The important stuff. What about those fancy scrolling effects that everyone's using these days?
Oh, yeah, the parallax thing. That's so cool, but I bet it's tricky to code.
Right. So think about those things before you start clicking through profiles.
Okay, so I'm making my list, checking it twice. No more digital window shopping for me. Now that we've got our must-haves locked and loaded, how do we actually find these developers? I mean, Fiverr has, thousands of them? It's a little intimidating.
Well, you probably already know Fiverr has a pretty good filtering system, right?
Yeah, I played around with it a bit.
Okay, but John, he digs a little deeper. He says, treat those filters like a secret weapon.
A secret weapon. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So you could filter by budget, obviously. Seller ratings. What platform they specialize in.
Right, so if I'm using WordPress, I don't need someone who's a whiz at, building apps.
Exactly. But you said secret weapon, so there's got to be more to it, right?
There is, isn't there? Okay, I'm ready. Hit me with it.
So John is all about the programming languages.
Getting specific.
He says, if your site needs, some serious power behind it, you can filter by the actual languages the developers are fluent in.
Okay, so instead of just searching for, WordPress developer, I can look for someone who is a master of, Python, JavaScript.
Exactly.
Wow, that is way more specific than how I was searching before. I can see how that would save a ton of time and weed out the developers who, no offense to them, might not be the right fit for a more complex project. Okay, so we've narrowed it down, but I'm looking at dozens of potential developers still. How do I actually choose?
Don't worry, this is where it gets good. This is where John's next piece of advice comes in.
Okay, hit me.
The portfolio deep dive.
Portfolio deep dive. Sounds kind of intense.
It's not as scary as it sounds, I promise. Think of it this way. You wouldn't hire an interior designer without looking at photos of their previous work, would you?
True. I need to know if they're going to go minimalist chic or full-on grandma's house with my living room.
Exactly. It's the same thing with web developers. Their portfolio is your chance to actually see their style in action.
Okay, so I'm looking for what are they doing? Sleek, modern designs? Can they handle those data-heavy layouts?
All of that. But John says it's not just about the overall style, though.
Oh, okay, there's more. I'm liking this already.
Yeah, he's big on the details. He says to really look closely at the portfolio pieces.
Okay.
And ask yourself, are these the kinds of details that I would want on my website?
So I should be paying attention to things like, how do they handle navigation menus? Is the typography easy to read? Stuff like that.
Yes, all of it. Because it's got to be functional.
Right. It can't just look pretty. It's got to actually work.
Exactly. And like, don't just look at the sites in their portfolio, actually use them.
Oh, that's a good point.
Click around, test things out.
Yeah, make sure those buttons actually do something.
Yes. Okay, speaking of getting a feel for a developer, John had some really interesting advice about actually reaching out before you commit to hiring them.
Really? I thought you just, like, click a button and hope for the best.
Nope. This isn't online dating, right? This is your business.
True, true. Gotta be a little more discerning than just swiping right.
Right. He calls it the mini interview, this pre-hiring communication.
Okay, a mini interview. I like it. Tell me more.
So it's your chance to get a feel for their communication style. How responsive are they? Do you actually like talking to them?
Because building a website with someone, it's a whole thing. It's a relationship.
Right. You'd be working with this person, like bouncing ideas off each other, probably dealing with like unexpected issues, right?
Exactly. I need someone I can actually communicate with, not just someone who can, like, write a line of code.
100%. And he actually suggests having like a little list of questions ready to go.
Oh, okay. Like what?
How do they prefer to communicate? Like, are they email people, quick message on the platform, whatever? How often will they update you on the project? Do they use any project management tools?
Right, because some people are, like, glued to their inbox, and others, you're lucky if you get a response once a week.
Exactly. And it's also your chance to get a sense of their personality a little. Are they super formal, more laid back, whatever? Okay, so we've talked about communication. We've vibed with our developers. But what about projects that don't really fit into those neat little packages Fiverr offers? Like, what if mine's a little more involved?
Ah, you're talking about those custom offers.
Yes. This is where Fiverr gets really cool. John says, don't be afraid to ditch the pre-made stuff and go fully custom.
Bespoke websites. Okay, I love it. But seriously, when is it the right time to actually go for a custom offer?
So it's a good move if your project has like unique elements that don't fit into their standard gigs. Think complex features, really intricate designs, integrations with other tools.
Makes sense. So if I'm going custom, how do I even know what to ask for?
That's where that must-have list comes back in.
Ah, our old friend.
Right. You're going to use that as your starting point. Describe your vision in detail. Oh, and John suggests getting custom offers from multiple developers, not just one.
Oh, okay. So it's like getting quotes from different contractors. Like if you're getting your kitchen redone, you want to see what everyone's charging.
Yes, exactly that. But John says it's not just about comparing the prices.
Okay, so what else should I be looking at?
Pay attention to what each developer includes in the proposal. Do they factor in revisions, offer different support levels, stuff like that?
So it's like, okay, this custom offer is more than just the price tag. I need to be looking at the whole package.
100%.
Yeah.
You want to understand the value each developer's offering, not just the bottom line. Now, once you've kind of weighed your options, pick your winner.
Time to make it happen.
Yes. Time to, like, channel your inner project manager.
Ooh, okay. This is the part where I picture myself with a hard hat, blueprints, maybe yelling into a walkie-talkie.
Love it. But John, he really stresses how important clear communication is here. He's all about, like, establishing how you'll communicate right from day one.
Okay, setting some ground rules. Because my previous attempts at collaboration were mostly frantic emails and, like, hoping for the best.
Right. Think about it. Some developers, they live for those quick daily check-ins.
Okay.
Others, they want to do a more structured, like, weekly update.
Makes sense.
And then there are those project management tools. Those can be, like, total game changers.
I'll admit I get a little overwhelmed by all the project management stuff out there. Any advice on, like, finding one that doesn't require a computer science degree to use?
John actually suggests keeping it simple, especially if it's not a massive project. And don't be afraid to ask your developer what works best for you.
Right.
It's a two-way street.
True, true. Okay, so communication is flowing, the project's moving along, and then the big day. The website's done. Can I pop the champagne yet?
Almost. But before you get too excited,
Yeah.
John has one final crucial piece of advice. The art of the meticulous review.
Okay, so no champagne until I've inspected every single pixel.
Not every pixel. But yeah, this is where you put on your detective hat. Test everything. Got it.
Click every button, fill out all the forms, make sure every link takes you exactly where it's supposed to.
Okay, yeah. Because it's easy to get caught up in that it's alive moment and not notice those little things that could be confusing for people actually using the website.
For sure. And remember, most Fiverr developers, they include at least one round of revisions in their pricing.
Oh, that's good to know.
So if something's not quite right, speak up. This is your chance to get it perfect before it goes out into the world.
This has been so helpful. Honestly, I went from being totally overwhelmed by Fiverr to feeling like I actually have a roadmap for finding the right developer.
And the best part is, this advice, it's not just for Fiverr. Whether you're browsing those freelance platforms, you're working with a fancy agency, even if you're thinking about DIYing your own site, those core principles, clarity, communication, collaboration, they're essential. So basically, finding the right developer, it's kind of like finding the perfect dance partner. You need to know your own moves, you got to communicate what you want, and then you can work together to create something amazing.
Beautifully said. Now, go forth and build those dream websites.
Yes, and when they launch, you know where to find us for that celebratory virtual toast.
Cheers to that.